Lights, camera, action!
Talking Tom is an animated sitcom. We are doing 52 11 minutes episodes, so that's about 8 feature films, volume, 640 minutes.
A lot.
A lot, yeah. And all that basically within a year and a half.
Part of my job at the beginning was actually to help assemble the team because we had to create a whole new production for the show. I mean, we basically pulled people from essentially all over the world, and we now have a very good team. We've spent the last year, working together, and there's a lot of challenges. There's sometimes long days. There's conflicts, but the reality is we create a fun show. And I think everybody realizes when they see the final result that, some of those headaches are worth it.
The production department is actually this umbrella you have, it's the top, and then you have the departments under, all the workflow we go through, all the processes go through there. So we are a little team, but actually taking care of the whole production from the very beginning of the project to the end.
Without production department and coordinators, nothing would happen. Everybody would go crazy artist mode and create stuff that nobody needs.
That's my job to balance it out, that deadlines are reached, and that we do it within the time and budget we have for that.
They kind of hold everything together, really.
Yeah.
They're kind of the puppet masters, if you want to call them that way, and make sure stuff actually happens.
Hey y'all!
Are we recording?
Yeah. Every video starts with that.
There's a great writers team on the project, and so we're supplied with great scripts.
The whole show was developed by Tom Martin, who has also been writing for The Simpsons or Saturday Night Live.
Hi, I'm Tom Martin. When I'm not working, I'm dreaming about working.
We were really lucky getting Tom Martin as our head writer. We have a writer's room in LA with many writers, and they sit together all day and
Have these crazy ideas.
have those crazy ideas.
They need to come up with funny jokes all the time. They read their ideas and scripts to themselves, and they just find out if it's funny or not. And there are usually at least 3, 4, up to 5 versions of a script before it's actually going into production.
And then we send it to ARC's Anima, who will read the script and say, this is impossible given the budget that we have.
When we get the first look at the scripts, we're like, oh, how are we gonna produce this?
There is no way that we're acting out one of his little scripts on camera. No. It could ruin our super professional image.
Somehow, they managed to take our scripts and turn them into beautiful, hilarious episodes that are much funnier than we ever imagined when we were writing them.
I'm at the top of the stairs! I see it! I see the thermostat!
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to get to work.
We work together with a cast of 5 actors who are not all exclusively voice actors.
I'm Colin, the voice of the talking cat.
Hey, it's Tom Kenny, the voice of Hank the dog.
I'm James Domi and I play Ben.
And I'm Maria. I play Ginger! And I get to be the voice of Angela. This is so exciting.
Here's how we direct Lisa.
Faster. Funnier.
Of course.
They actually bring the scripts alive because they improvise a lot on the lines. They have their own interpretation. There are a lot of songs that they need to do, even though they're not singers, so that's a challenge. Of course, we also need sounds from them, like screaming or yelling or running, panting. So they actually need to do a lot of physical work.
We are lucky to get that beautiful and talented cast on this one.
Go on.
We're getting the script as one of the first departments. We're drawing all of the stuff, making artwork for it, and we try to come up with fun ideas. that will be later produced in 3D.
You look at the scripts, they analyze the script, they say, okay, this needs to be designed. Ginger's jetpack, for example.
Yeah.
That's something, how does that look?
The most interesting part of my job is that you remember that one character or asset as a small drawing, and then finally you see it in the show as a 3D rendered object, and that's quite cool. It's probably the biggest reward you can get for the whole thing.
We create 3D models, textures and rigs for the further use in the production. We translate 2D artworks into 3D and make them ready for use in the show.
Pretty much everything you see, has to be made in the computer.
Hey, gasp!
Obviously we have a large staff that make those, and that's everything from the characters to the environments to a pencil or a pen or a piece of paper, the most mundane things.
The characters, they grab the banana and somebody needs to model that banana, and every banana is modeled by somebody.
It's me, Tom, your friend.
And I'm the bad cop.
We found a lot of incriminating evidence around here.
We're basically creating a library of things or props like on a digital film set, and it's very rewarding to see the final product that we create.
At the very beginning with the script, it's all just written words. And then in the storyboard, those written words will be translated into 2D images. The director reads the script and finds a way to interpret it visually. And then the storyboard artist just draws the story really roughly. And once the images come back from the storyboard artist, they come to edit. And edit takes those images and puts them together in a timeline.
The goal of storyboard is that you have a video in the end, basically an animatic, as we call it, where you can press play and you see the whole episode with voices, with the radio play.
That was amazing.
The director and everybody involved has an immediate impression of the whole episode.
Exactly, yeah. And so that's what's so important, because you don't want to go into 3D when the story is not working yet.
Wait, what was that? What's going on here? Oh no, it's overheating!
There are other departments that are not so linear, and that don't happen one after the other. So one of them is edit, and in edit it's kind of where everything comes together.
Editorial is all about rhythm and emotions, to transport emotions, to tell the story the right way.
We're right there from the beginning, throughout the whole production process, and pretty much the whole episode is laid out in editorial, and this is like the guideline for the rest of the departments to hold on to.
We have kind of an overview of the whole production. We are able to see it from only sound, storyboard, layout, animation, all the steps we go through, and we finally deliver the product.
They are kind of the hub of the episodes. Everything comes in and the episodes then go out of edit. So it's a very crucial department because
they have the last saying.
Yeah, exactly. Don't mess with edit.
No.
Don't mess with edit.
No.
Mess with edit. Edit.
Layout is, basically the 3D version of the storyboard.
This is a part of the process in between storyboarding and animation. So this is where we define the camera angles, do all the framings, composition, to be able to show the directors and the client how the thing is going to look in the end, but in a very rough way.
It's best described as a digital cameraman. We worry a lot about composition, framing, and how characters are placed within a camera.
You get an even better understanding if that really works nicely in the 3D environment. And then, yeah, once that is finished and working, goes on to the next department.
In animation, it's like real actors acting out in front of the camera. The animator looks at the storyboard and the layout, and he talks with the director, and the director briefs the animators about what's important in each scene.
Question: why did the chicken cross the Mobius strip?
Now you see I'm making a figure 8 because a Mobius strip is a strip of thing that's been twisted.
So why did the chicken cross the Mobius strip?
What I want to get is, maybe it's time for the moon to set? Wait, set? It's kind of like, set?
Maybe it's time for the moon to, I don't know, set?
You're just gonna have a little bit more accentuation of that silliness. The smile coming out really broad, and he does a quick squash on his eye, and his eyes go sort of cling,
We animators who are responsible for doing the acting, how the characters move, how they behave, their facial expression, that's our part.
Basically, it's like taking in Maya, in the software we're using, this character, and let him move like it is a puppet.
For every frame, you have to change every joint of the character, so it takes quite a long time. It's a lot of work. And then you press play, and it's alive.
It's alive! Alive!
In render and comp, they kind of, it's like two departments, but then they're one because they, well, you shouldn't say they do the same thing, but from an outside perspective, they kind of do the same thing. Don't tell them I said that. Well, they might see it. In rendering, that's where it all then happens, and that's where
they come with the magic wand.
Exactly, yeah. They come in and then suddenly it's beautiful.
I'm the head of the lighting and rendering department, and there is where we define all the illuminations, give it mood to the scene, define if it's day or night, if it's indoors or outdoors. And after that we set up this illumination, we render the images, and we send it to comp guys so they can build everything.
And then those comp guys, after rendering, they do the fine-tuning, and then it looks even better.
Is this real? This is awesome. It's just like we're in the shutdown sector.
The biggest challenges we face on a day-to-day basis are maintaining a look of continuity between the episodes. We basically have presets for all the locations and daytime conditions. So we have like nighttime garage and daytime garage, making it a pretty flexible and efficient workflow.
Compositing, you could see that as like layers in Photoshop, and you put them together, and then you just tweak the different layers.
But more than that, it's an attention to detail and color theory, being able to pick colors that fit together and work together well as the techniques, the technical end of compositing.
A director has the full creative overview of an episode. A director has to make sure that the episode is the most entertaining it can be and the best it possibly can be within the resources available to you.
It was actually fun to come on to this brand new show where nothing had been done yet, and it was kind of our role to help set what the show was going to be about.
It's not just like following the roadmap. Here's the script, follow it. Here's the voices, follow it. When we tell a story visually, we put our own stamp on it, and so somebody would have a dramatic angle and somebody would have a strictly, cartoony comedy angle, and I think that's good that we can make that mosaic, that we each explore a different side of the characters.
It's kind of like a dance you have to do to find, the right balance between unique and fitting into an overall vision of the whole broad show. And it's also very rewarding to see that finally comes out and actually it works. And to see people laugh of it, it's even better.
When the episode is released on YouTube and the comments start coming in from all the kids, I just love that more than anything, when these kids start commenting on, this is the most fantastic episode, or whatever the different comments are. That for me is the reward I get out of the series, and I look forward to that every time the episode's released. We've got these 5 essentially very different characters all kind of thrown together into one location, and then we take them on these various journeys.
It's madness what these 5 friends are doing.
It's a nice mix between being a kids show and a show for grown-ups.
It's all about friendship, and how this friendship is always challenged.
Tom is kind of troublemaker, and Ben is the anchor of the group. Of course, Hank steals the show in every episode.
It stands out to the rest of the shows you see out there. It has a very unique sense of humor.
It's great to be able to create something like that with such amazing people.
The team comes from all parts of the world, from Canada to Iceland, so it's just this massive amount of different cultures that I hear, and that's really fascinating.
Yeah, it's really an experience to be able to manage a group of truly international people.
Get a very good network, professional, but also, good friends.
It's fun to work with ambitious people, and it's an ambitious team.
All of them really likes this job. It's really a pleasure to work with all of them all the time. Yeah.
That's one of the best things here, working here at Arx Anima. I think the team is pretty fun, pretty cool.
You have your own family at home, and then you go to your animation family.
It's a really fun place to be at and to work at.
It's fun to work with everybody.
We have fun.
It's everyday fun.
Layout department is a bunch of idiots.
Somebody's in the kitchen, yeah.
Quiet, please.
Who's in the kitchen?
Alexander? Probably.
I got a clapperboard at home, you should have said it.
Amateurs.